This is Alibaba, ticker symbol BABA. A viewer named Paisley is interested in this stock, so I thought I would break it down and show you what's happening on the 5-minute time frame and also show you what's happening in the big picture. So we ended the week at $69.42, up 2%. The 52-week low is $66.92. The 52-week high is $121.30. Now, for the week, we are down more than 4%. For the month, down 7%. And for the year, down a whopping 41%. This stock has taken a beating. Under the technicals, it's still considered a sell. Under the analyst's rating, it's considered a strong buy, however, and the 1-year price target is $111.53, which represents a 60% return on your money. It's hard to believe that we could get to 111 from where we are because we have bled out, but obviously some big potential in the big picture. And then if you click on that, the max forecast is 148.66. Obviously, that is a long ways off. We've got thousands of trades in between there to get to this level, so we're not even close. But something to look forward to if you are on the downside and you're trying to trade this stock to make some money back if you've lost some. And I'm definitely down on some of my shares. So I'm interested also in BABA. So we are right here at resistance. 2 standard deviations would take us to 69.66. A gap forms to the upside at $70.22. Another level of resistance and potential take profit area at 70.40. 71.16, and that gap closes to the north side at 71.82. If we continue to go up, there are many gaps that I am tracking to the upside, and this one would close out at $80.40. We are not even close, not there, but something to be aware of. And I am tracking this in my Gap and Go video, so I'm making a different video for that. But just some upside potential there. And on the 5-minute time frame, we are going down. All right, I anticipate it will hit 30 and maybe even dip below and then go back up again. And if we did that, I think this will go down, hit the middle of the trend, touch this gap that I'll talk about in a second, and then once we close out that gap, then make our way back up. So to the south side, back at the middle of the trend where all stock prices go either to the downside or to the upside, just follow the middle of the trend and you can kind of get a clue as to where we're going to be. Of course, it can tank and crack even more, so it is constantly changing, but right now we're in a downward trend. That middle of the trend takes us to roughly 68.21. A gap forms at 60, roughly 67, let's say 98. -2 standard deviations and another level of support and a potential buy-in at 66.76, 66.03, and then that gap closes to the downside at 65.32. This gap formed a ways ago, and I'll show you that in the bigger picture. But unfortunately, one more gap that I see that will take us down, and then from there I think we may fingers crossed have bottomed out because I don't see any other gaps. It doesn't mean we can't continue to go down, but hopefully this is the end of it. And note, I've been tracking this for the last 5 weeks, and you can see we're still in a downward trend where we haven't gone sideways yet and then go up. So still down, and you'll see that on the monthly time frame and on the weekly, but on the daily we are turning up, so that's positive. But right here, see how we've closed out all these gaps that I've mentioned to the south side. Oh, let me finish marking this one out. It closed right here at the beginning of this week. all these gaps have closed to the upside, and then we hit resistance up here and fell back down. And now this bounce, see that off support, bounce off support, fall off here at resistance, make our way down to support, and the cycle repeats itself. But again, we're turning down on the 5-minute. So I anticipate it to continue to go down, and then I just need this thing to close out this gap so we can talk about the reversal. Now, on the daily, okay, my chart looks nasty because I've tracked this many times. And on the daily, we're right here. It's hard to see, but the middle of the trend would take us roughly to right there, about $78. Okay, and then to the south side, if we go to -2 standard deviations, it will close out this gap. And then definitely if we get to here, $60 range, I will definitely anticipate a bounce off support and earnings on the 31st. So watch out for that as well. Now check this RSI out. On the daily, we are turning up at 37. So that's good. And on the monthly, let's just show you the weekly while I'm here. Again, still going down because that gap needs to close. And then on the monthly, that gap still needs to close also. And then hopefully we'll get a bounce. I mean, we might not get to 30 in the oversold area because in the past we haven't made it there, but we did make it here on the 3rd of October. And price on the 3rd of October took us down to $57.98. Of course, I'm sure many of you, me included, did not buy because we thought, is it going to crack even more? And that's when it bounced off of that line. So hopefully we'll hit it and then bounce off that 30 line as well. Now on the weekly, now my chart looks messy on the weekly too because the linear regression, the calculations changed. I think it was last week or the week before. It's terrible. I can no longer look at this and use this to predict or look at the technicals. It's a hot mess. But for some reason, I can still look at it. Well, on the daily, the calculations aren't there, but we are right here. And we peaked out a long time ago at 319. Can we get back there and then some? Could we make it to 329? I wouldn't hold my breath, but I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. Where are we? Down here. So we've got a lot of room to the upside. But the low side was 57.99, and that move here was a return of 460%. Amazing. Let me take this back to the 5-minute. All right, that's a look at BABA, and I know Paisley likes to track TDOC as well, and some other people. So I'll just show you the range for TDOC while I'm here. $20.24 is where we ended on Friday for the week, up nearly 2%. The day's range, 1950 to 2039. The 1-year price target, what are we at now? 22.83. It was 61 last time I checked it. All right, to the north side. 2 resistance takes us to a lovely gap fill at 2047, closes out at 3 standard deviations, 2082, and at 4 standard deviations where I don't know if we'll make it, but if we do not anticipate price staying there. It will crack. People will lock in and leave. And if you're just day trading or just doing quick scalps, short swing trades, it could be an opportunity to get out at 21.24. Note the sell-off here at resistance. And to the south side, back at the middle of the trend, 1965. 1885, 1847, and 1805. Let's take a look at this. I'm going to show you this on the 15-minute time frame so that way I can see bigger movements. All right, I talked about this when I pointed out a gap to the downside. All right, it gapped up, so I anticipate price to fall down. It takes a while to get there, but eventually you can play the short side, and we touched right here. So this is no longer a threat to our accounts to the downside. I will remove the price. That way it doesn't make my chart look like a hot mess when I show it to you in the big picture. All right, what's happening here when I talked about it for Paisley? So there was this gap that I was talking about. We filled the gap. Okay, we went down, we filled it on the way up. So intuitively, I know that there's some upside potential. How long did it take? Well, it took a while. From here, September 20th, to here, December. So you have to be a patient trader sometimes, but well, actually that was to December right here. It didn't even touch till, right about there. So this gap is no longer in play as well. I will remove that. Okay, and what do we got here? That one touched. Let me remove that one. And unfortunately, there is a gap. I'm tracking for TDOC still. That's going to take us down to 1575. So long term, we're still going down. Let's look at this on the daily and see where we're headed. Okay, still going down on the daily. Oh no, going up. So that's good, but let's see in the weekly and the monthly, I'm going to anticipate going down because of that gap. And that one's still going down. So hopefully we'll touch 30 and then off and up. All right, that's a look at TDOC and Alibaba. Thank you so much for watching.